Namaskar, everybody, and very warm welcome on behalf of Ramashram Bangalore family. We are about to start in a few minutes. I hope you have completed your registration at the registration desk, and we have just some tea and coffee available. So just avail yourself of it. We'll start in a few minutes. Thank you. from Ramashram Bangalore family. We're about to start. Thanks for your patience. So we request everybody who is outside to come and grab a seat. Request everybody to come and grab a seat. We'll start in a minute with the bhajan recitals. So please come and grab your seats. Thank you. Two bhajan recitals by Dipali ji and Bran. So you request Dipali ji and Bran to present the bhajans.
तू ही साथ तू ही किनारा ढूंढता है तू किसका सहारा तू ही सागर तू ही किनारा ढूंढता है तू किसका सहारा कभी तन में कभी मन में उलझा सदा अपने दामन छुपा कभी तन में कभी मन में उलझा सदा अपने दामन छुपा सबसे जीता से हारा देता है तू किसका सहारा देता है तू किसका सहारा पाप क्या पुण्य क्या तू भुला दी पाप क्या पुण्य क्या तू भुला दे, कर्म कर फल की चिंता मिटा दे, ये परीक्षा पिता है वो किसका सहारा, ये परीक्षा दबाया, पिता है तो किसका सहारा, पिता है तो किसका सहारा। इसकी छाया है दर्पण उसी का, तेरे दिल में है साया उसी का, उसकी छाया है दर्पण उसी का, तेरे दिल में है छाया उसी का, मेरी आँखें उसका इशारा, पिता है तो किसका सहारा, गए तो पिता है तो किसका सहारा, पिता है तो किसका सहारा, ढूंढता है तो किसका सहारा। साथे
That was wonderful. Many, many thanks. Just one announcement of order. Please check your mobile phone. Request you to please put your mobile phone on silent mode or switched off. Just take a minute to check your phones, please. Most of our meetings, start when satsang elders say कि हम कितने भाग्यशाली हैं. I can really say how lucky we feel today in your presence, in presence of Guru Maharaj Ji and under the guidance of Pujya Sanjeev Bhaiya Ji. On behalf of Ramashram Bangalore family, I request Raghav uncle to welcome Sri Sanjeev Bhaiya with a bouquet. Please. We request Sri Sanjeev Bhaiya Ji to formally start the proceedings by lighting the lamp in front of Pujya Guru Maharaj Ji. We request Dipali and Brian to present another bhajan.
प्रेम पानी पानी साटणे रे प म ग रे सा सा कबीरा जब हम पैदा हुए जग से हम रोए ऐसी करनी कर चलो हम हंसे जग रोए हम हंसे जग रोए चदरिया झीनी रे झीनी चदरिया झीनी रे झीनी रस दी चदरिया झीनी रे झीनी चदरिया झीनी रे झीनी चरखा बना पाँच तर की चदरिया पाँच तर की नौ दस नौ दस चदरिया झी रे झी चदरिया झीनी रे झीनी चलती जाकर बन घर रत ऐसा चदरिया झीनी रे झीनी रे झीनी रे झीनी चदरिया झीनी रे झीनी चांद शकावत ये दो दिन चदरिया झीनी रे झीनी चदरिया झीनी रे झीनी शुक्र दास कबीर सिया जी रे जी जी रे जी
The language of art and the history and language of love. Again, by the grace of Guru Maharaj Ji, I welcome you all formally to this session of Ramashram family for an interaction with Sri Sanjeev Bhaiya Ji. It is said that love and prayer are very, very similar, right? Prem or puja, ishq or bandagi, they aren't very different. Wordings of one of my favorite ghazals are मैं तुझे पाने की हरदम जुस्तजू करता रहूं सबसे तेरे प्यार की मैं गुफ्तगू करता रहूं. So I'm here to do some guftagoo, share some notes of all the love that I have received as part of Ramashram family. Being part of Ramashram family is my greatest family inheritance. As a kid, Satsang meant sweet prasad, but as I grew, I realized that I liked hanging around late Professor Saab Nanaji, who was our Ramashram Satsang elder in Patna. I felt an attraction towards him, and I summarize it as anyone who met Nanaji felt that he was Nanaji's most favorite, just like I felt. I questioned, how can anyone have such a capacity to make everyone loved? And I suspected it was something to do with his being part of Satsang. As I moved out of Patna and interacted with the larger Satsang Parivar, I realized this was characteristic common amongst all Satsang elders. Like, isn't it logical for me to feel that I'm Sanjeev Bhaiya's most favorite? But when I visited him in US, it was he who personally chauffeured me around from pickup to drop. Though sometimes, there is a suspicion that many other people also feel the same about Sanjeev Bhaiya, and that makes me feel a bit jealous. But that's me. And while I enjoyed the unconditional and boundless love of this Ramashram family, I also felt guilty about my inconsistent meditation practice. After all, I've heard that self-realization is the ultimate destination of meditation, and achieving thoughtlessness is the goal during practice, and improved self-awareness is a very low-level outcome of spiritual pursuits. I've struggled to achieve thoughtlessness, and once I told Bhaiya, I feel useless as I'm not making any progress in my meditation. And Bhaiya asked me, there must be progress. Why else will you take all the trouble of coming all the way? And why do you keep coming back? Now that's typical of Bhaiya. You never get an answer. You get a question in return for a question, albeit a deeper one. As I reflected, why do I keep coming back? I remembered few instances, like during the first year of my college, first year in college, when I felt bullied and mocked by my roommates and felt helpless. Not knowing what to do, I picked up a book by Guru Maharaj Ji, and it said, I paraphrase, love everyone. And if you can't love everyone, don't hate anyone. Become neutral, udasin ho jao. I stopped and thought, how is that possible? how is it possible for you not to hate somebody who bullies you, right? And the book further said, we only hate because of fear of harm. So if either by logical deduction or by faith, we conclude that the other person cannot harm me, it will give us the superpower to let go and allow us not to hate. This has been a superpower that has allowed me to reach out across the aisle and convert my rivals and critics in business world into partner and friends. I remember a very powerful business rival once telling me, as much as I disagree with you, huge respect for taking the initiative to reach out and talk. And I owe it to this Ramashram family. Then there are other things that I've heard in Satsang, like the promise to the new joiners. And again, I paraphrase, we don't promise that after practicing meditation, things that you worry about will go away. Kasht gab nahi ho jayenge. But you will surely worry less about them. Unki chinta karna band kar doge. Or that whether one achieves thoughtlessness or not, one should persist with regular practice of meditation and the results will follow. Apart from Ramashram, amongst many other loves of my life is books. And the latest literature on leadership tells you that one topic appearing repeatedly in modern leadership writing is that true leaders are being guided by an inner conviction rather than following the popular choices. And most of them identify meditation, self-reflection, and some sort of spiritual energy as the source of that conviction of a transformational leadership. I guess that's the benefit I have received of my imperfect practice. I just wonder what results for a better practitioner will be. I'm sure Bhaiya will talk about it. My friends, and I've got a couple of them sitting here, will tell you I'm a contrarian thinker, and my colleagues will tell you I'm a fault finder. I'm a fault finding machine. So my logical mind noticed imperfections in the way Ramashram is organized. And I sampled lots of other satsangs groups, but finally realized that lack of hierarchy, lack of ritual, and lack of infrastructure in Ramashram family is a feature, is not a bug. Paraphrasing Guru Maharaj Ji, here instead of Guru Shishya relationship, we make family relationships. So we address our satsang elders like Babuji, Tauji, Bhabi, Didi, or Bhaiya. Though it creates some confusing situation. Like my friends outside Ramashram family wonder, how come I have so many cousins in every city in India and even outside of the world? Or how come the same person, Sanjeev ji, is my Bhaiya as well as my father's Bhaiya? Now, let's watch a small audio visual about the origin and journey of Ramashram family.
Rise, a nonprofit organization that strives to promote harmony and spiritual growth among individuals. The Inner Peace Workshop is a step towards this goal. The workshop will help you explore your inner self and discover the peace that lies within you. Let us now quickly dive into the history of Rameshram Satsang, author as the decade of 1880 to 1890 arrived. A noble soul was born on November 3rd, 1883 in the North Indian province of Assam. He was none other than Sant Dr. Chandra Sahib Ji, who would later become the founder of Rameshram Satsang. He studied Urdu, Farsi, English, Hindi, and Sanskrit. He had a degree in electrohomeopathy and also basic knowledge of Ayurveda that he genuinely used for selfless social service. Dr. Chandra Sahib Ji, our Guru Maharaj, had the opportunity to spend some inexplicably special moments with Lalaji Maharaj, also known as Dr. During an epidemic outbreak. During these moments, this noble soul experienced an unknown dissemination of intrinsic power towards him whenever he was in company of Dada. Again, there are no verbal lessons nor scriptures. The knowledge just flowed in the right direction towards a well-chosen. The guru-disciple tradition was for living. Yet again, one day Dada Guru passed on a unique tool of meditation to our Guru Maharaj. Our system of meditation is based on what Guru Maharaj learned from Dada Guru that day. In 1919, Guru Maharaj received a directive from his guru to contribute to the propagation of this system of meditation to the spiritual seekers. Guru Maharaj followed his master's instructions, letter and spirit. Guru Maharaj, upholding the ethics of Guru Shishya Parampara, brought the venerable tradition of his master's lineage to the people, giving the previously little known process of meditation to thousands of spiritual seekers. The Satsang spread at a fast pace, and Guru Maharaj imparted this.
Apologies, and these are minutes that realize that beyond all our efforts, we need his blessings for things to work. So, I mean, imperfections, lessons for our apologies.
Workshop
Now,
by Rameshram
there are
Satsang
things
Mathura.
that I hear in
Rameshram
Ramana family.
Satsang Mathura is a non-profit organization that strives to promote peace, harmony, and spiritual growth among individuals. The Inner Peace Workshop is a step towards achieving this goal. The workshop will help you explore your inner self and discover the peace that lies within you. Let us now quickly dive into the history of Rameshram Satsang Mathura. As the decade of 1880 to 1890 arrived,
Sought help from Radhika, my wife, Ma Papaji, and family friends, including Madhukar present here. It helped, but it didn't solve. Looking at the gravity of the situation, my father Papaji escalated the situation to Krishnakant Tauji and Sanjeev Bhaiya. And in talking to them, I found unconditional acceptance of my situation, which the others were unable to provide despite all their love of me. Their guidance, along with counseling, helped me bounce back and also restored the courage to continue taking risky bets in corporate life. And this instance, for me, personifies Bhaiya. He personifies the principle of loving the members of Ramashram family even more than your own family, as initiated by Puja Guru Maharaj Ji. And he translates all the spiritual knowledge of Guru Maharaj Ji to our modern life context. That's my introduction, of Bhaiya. That's my introduction of Bhaiya. But for a formal introduction, Bhaiya is a meditation practitioner with over 40 years of experience who has been facilitating guided meditation sessions in the DMV area of US. Apologies. He has been facilitating guided meditation sessions in the DMV area of US and across the US for last 2 decades. He believes that meditation is essential to reducing anxiety, depression, and their negative effects on both the mind and the body. Sanjeev ji is also the president of Ramashram Satsang Mathura Inc., a non-profit organization that promotes a healthy and peaceful lifestyle through satsang, a unique guided meditation practice developed by his grandfather. With these few words, I hand over to Sri Sanjeev Bhaiya ji.
Yeah. Okay. So namaskar and welcome everyone. So I'm really grateful to be here and privileged to have you all. So today, see, as you were hearing, for 100 years, my grandfather in 1930 started Rameshwaram Satsang Mathura, and he has been sharing how to be peaceful, how to not be affected by worry and anxiety. And that's the topic today, and we will talk about it. All I wanted to say was, for 100 years, these sessions have been happening in the northern India in Hindi, right? Traditional way. I think, just sit down. So the format has changed a little bit, the language has changed a little bit, but the whole thing, the way I look at it, we will practice meditation the way Guru Maharaj described a long time ago. And it has been effective. And as Mridumesh was saying, there are so many aspects to this, but if you follow, I have seen personally, he has seen, third, fourth generation satsangis, what they realize is that peace is achievable, right here, right now. And the goal today is that we at least have a moment of real peace, okay? And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the structure. So everything before the meditation, I call transition in. And after that is transition out. Why such an elaborate transition in? Because there were bhajans, there is a talk. Why do we need all that? Why don't we just go into meditation, feel peaceful? And then, the problem is that we are stuck in so many things. So to get to a peaceful state, we need this transition in. From everything that is going on, we need to disconnect, right? So all that, happens before the meditation. Even my talk is just part of the transition. The real thing today is the practice itself. And that is your individual practice. You have to, get how to be peaceful right here, right now, right? So now first, before we get into the meditation, let's try to understand what is peace, right? Everybody wants to be peaceful because that's our natural characteristic, right? We all want to be there. But what Guru Maharaj says is that unfortunately, very few actually figure out the source or the way to find where peace is just very, very few people find that. So why it is so? Because one thing he says is that if we are trying to find peace where it is not, then how will you find it? That's one, right? But then let's try to even understand peace. We are trying to find peace in the world, right? We have not understood what peace is. Actually, Guru Maharaj describes peace as the place where there are no good or bad desires. Like, so, I have to live, I have to do so many things, I have to be, ambitious, I have to. So how peace, which is the place of where there is no good or bad desires, how would I achieve that? So first you have to understand this definition a little more, right? Because what happens every time I have a good or bad desire, and we'll go to the good ones later, bad desires in the sense like we get caught up into something that, we know is not really going to be very helpful to us, but we are still desiring something, and that leads to so many emotions like lust and anger and greed and all these things, right? So we get caught up in this. Every time the desire is not fulfilled or fulfilled, that causes the up and down cycle of it's fulfilled, we are happy for a bit. It's not fulfilled, anger, unhappiness, and so on and so forth. And this cycle of feeling good and then not good. So this duality is what causes us not to be at peace, right? If we understand that this state of duality is causing us not to be at peace, and peace is where there are no good or bad desires, then even scriptures talk about detachment. And we say like, what is detachment? So detachment again is, as Buddha says, that attachment leads to misery, right? So every time we have these desires that, these desires lead to attachment. And attachment is basically, so if we get attached to something that leads to like, oh, let me do this for them, let me try this now, and those kind of things lead to, so attachment and desires are connected, and then peace and detachment are interconnected. So let's go to the worry, right? Um, if we were to plan to achieve peace, what happens is that Guru Maharaj says that worry is the number one factor which keeps us away from peace, because every time we get affected by worry, our mind gets very quickly uh, 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 the mind actually goes in and gets so caught up into the worryful thoughts. So worry is a continual cycle of thoughts that persists without any resolution or progression, endlessly repeating in a circular motion. So it's not that, we shouldn't think or plan, but what happens is that when we get caught up into a cycle which doesn't end, it is the worry and anxiety state, right? And interestingly, it is all because if you look at these situations, I'll give you an example, like our kid is not well, our kid is not getting into, the school, or is not getting an admission in college, or, so I'm just saying one attachment here, but there are so many more things that we are attached to. And these attachments are like, we become then even fearful sometimes that what if this doesn't happen? What if, oh, my health? And so it's not that we don't have to plan. It's not that we don't have to think about our loved ones. But when you go into an endless cycle of what ifs, so mind is a beautiful capability that we have, but I think this is some kind of misuse of our own mind, where we go into the future and then there are so many potential good things that can happen and potential bad things that can happen. Unfortunately, the bad things occupy our mind and consume our mind very quickly. And then what happens? It just starts repeating. The more it repeats, the more, pressure, the more, as I think Mridumesh was saying, that, okay, a situation happened and things do happen in our lives. But then when we start thinking about it again and again, and the what if scenarios cause us to look at the negative scenarios more and more deeply, then worry and anxiety and depression and all these things, become part. And so this pattern actually becomes more and more, once your mind becomes like trained, and wrongly so, to get into that cycle, then we are unable to get out of that cycle. And that's what is worry, right? So it also talks about, after some time, the worry can actually cause very, so it's started with our thoughts about future or the past, right? We have guilty of some things, and some things happened in the past, and that is causing us to worry about things. The thing is that starts affecting our hormones, because that also starts affecting our sleep patterns, that starts affecting our how we are even interacting with others, how we look at ourselves. All this is like intertwined, and it's interconnected in the sense that lot of these things are now taking some physical symptoms, that we can't sleep, we can't think positively, we are unable to even sometimes think clearly what I should do and not do, because I'm so bogged down with the potential negative things that can happen, right? So what happened was Guru Maharaj, um, so interesting thing was Mridumesh talked about this, sadhana ke anubhav, which Guru Maharaj wrote. It's a 7-volume book, 28 chapters, and today we're just talking about one chapter that talks about worry and anxiety in the context of the mysteries of peace. And so if worry is the biggest enemy of we at being at peace, then what are the solutions, right? So in this one chapter, and it's a very small chapter, when I started looking, he writes in a very free flow, but then there are multiple techniques he talks about how to tackle once you are under, the attack of, negative thoughts or anything that from the past or future is worrying you and consuming your mind in ways that your, peaceful lifestyle is affected, right? So he says, the first thing you can do, so especially like creating an alternate pathway. So I will tie all this together at the end. But so he first talks about create an alternate pathway. So it could be as simple as something starts consuming your mind and worry and anxiety starts, and you have a hobby, or you just go for a movie, or you just distract your mind, right? It's a temporary but effective solution. I have tried that. Even a panic attack comes, all you do is occupy yourself in something that you really like. So the mind gets distracted, at least for that moment. The alternate pathway can be a really effective solution. And my father used to give an example that when somebody is creating a dam on a river, you create a canal. So what happens, a canal is created, the water starts flowing through that canal. The pressure on that site where the dam is to be created is lowered, and you can easily create that dam there more easily. And then you close the canal, and what happens? The dam now is able to create energy. So through the dam, you can, when the water falls on the turbines, you create energy that could light up, cities, right? So what I'm saying is that I'll come to the second part, how once the dam is created, what happens. But the first thing is, if you want to distract your mind, create the canal. That's an alternate path. And we need to do something else for long-term solution, which is creating the dam. We'll come to that later. So the first solution he gives is create an alternate pathway, right? Anything that distracts your mind will help, right? Actually, Guru Maharaj also talks about Maharishi Patanjali from Yoga Sutra, that he says that not only create an alternate path, but create a complete opposite and strong force. Vidarbhadne pratipaksh bhavanam. So basically, he talks, quotes Maharishi Patanjali, that if you want to stop negative thoughts and a strong negative force from affecting you, try the complete opposite, which is the very strong positive thought, to replace it. And you will say, like, when I am getting hammered by negative thoughts, I don't have that ability to catch positive thoughts, right? Or replace that with positive thoughts. But he says that's possible. And he then goes on to describe, even the practice that we will do will teach you, because this is one way in which you can replace anything that is, affecting you negatively. You can replace it with a complete and opposite and very strong positive thought, right? So why do we believe in God? Why do we believe in anything? If your belief system is about, so I talk about transcendental energy, cosmic energy. What is cosmic energy? So if sun is 93 million miles away, that energy is responsible for all life on earth, 93 million miles away, such a strong force. The galaxy has millions of suns, right? So there is so much positive energy in this universe. Let's connect with that. Our problems are very small problems. Universe has such energy. If we were able to connect to that energy, to that transcendental energy, that would be a complete opposite and strong force, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that we need to replace a negative thought with an equal or stronger positive thought. That would be a solution. Now, live in the present moment. So think about that. I mean, it's actually very, very simple. If we are worried, if we are stressed, if we are anxious, it's because of something in the past or because of something in the future. Forget about that. Let's be here right now. Let's forget about. So if we could forget about the past or worry, thinking about the future, if you don't do that, you're grounded here in the present moment. And where is the worry? Right? Easier said than done, obviously. So then we need to do something to be able to live in the present moment. So I think one of the things that Mriduesh was saying, and it kind of reminded me that when I was growing up, so fortunately I was growing up in this Satsang family, and there were people who lived in the present moment. When I would go and meet them, I would be in the present moment. And I'll give you a real example. I was in college and I was in Trichy, so not too far. I have done projects in Bangalore, so I feel really connected with this city. So I was going back home. And so for in college, and Ridhmesh and I have talks for hours and hours sometimes because, and so for months, I was thinking about something and I was stuck. And I was not able to, I was stuck mentally into that problem and not at peace. Was very, caught up in myself. And I said, like this, I have to ask. I have to get resolution of this issue that's in my head and eating me up. And I went to meet Panditji Maharaj in Tundla near Agra. And I sat down in front of him and I could not remember the questions that I was thinking about for 4 months. And seriously, at that point there was thinking, yes, I had some questions and I couldn't remember anything. So that is the effect of people living in the present moment. If you were living in the present moment, your kids will get affected by that in that way. your environment, your people, the people you work with. So if you want to affect the environment positively, you need to do all of this first for yourself. And then, the next thing is that everybody around you could be affected. Some people will say, hey, I don't want this because they're not in the receiving mode yet. But I'm telling you, it is possible. I've seen this multiple times in my life, that people achieved states which are infectious. And we'll talk about that after the meditation, because let's first, practice it ourselves. And then we'll talk a little bit about what it can do. What's the target state? And so living in the present moment is my definition of being very free. And that's why I also say that sages who have achieved higher states of consciousness, they live in the present moment. And so, then Vitra, so basically, Maharshi Patanjali talks about Yogas Chit Vritti Nirodha. So the definition of yoga is Yogas Chit Vritti Nirodha. So if Chit ki Vritti ka Nirodh is yoga, so what is Chit? So in English, maybe we can say the subconscious mind, right? So if the subconscious mind is devoid of thought processes, then you have achieved yoga. But what is that? Let's say worry and anxiety. How is that happening? Through your thoughts, right? What is worry and anxiety? It's basically a thought that has consuming you. If there are no thoughts, where is worry and where is anxiety? Right? And that would be living in the present moment too, but let's focus on this. So if my mind, which is running away to all these places through my thought processes, if I concentrate on one thing and then leave that also, that means not my conscious mind and my subconscious mind. So conscious mind, I can control. Subconscious mind, I cannot. So first in meditation, you concentrate and focus and control your mind, which is the conscious mind. When your practice becomes deeper, it affects even your subconscious mind. So people who have achieved higher awareness, higher consciousness, they have achieved the ability to even stop the barrage or even the initiation of the thought process stops during that meditation. Once you have achieved that, for that period of meditation, there is no thought. When there is no thought, where is the worry and where is the anxiety? So yoga is not about asana and pranayams only. That is one way to live a healthy lifestyle. But to live a very free lifestyle, you need to go to pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. That will get you to the control of your mind, the ability to be very free. Now you will say, okay, so during the meditation, I'm free. What about the rest of the time, right? So we'll talk about that after the practice. First, let's control our mind, take a taste of what peacefulness really means. Then we will talk about how to take it to the next level. All right? So let's do that. So no, keep it there. No, the one that was there. Yeah. Oh, no, this one. Yeah. So interestingly, yoga has, Maharishi Patanjali talked about the 8 limbs of yoga, Ashtanga yoga, and that has 4 of the top 4 limbs are Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi, which is inward orientation, concentration, meditation, and the resulting higher consciousness. So let's practice that right now, okay? So what Guru Maharaj did was he brought all those things that we are talking about, like creating a alternate pathway, creating an opposite and strong force, living in the present moment, controlling the mind. All of this we will practice now. And the practice also fits into these 4, 8 limbs of the 8-part Ashtanga yoga. So inward orientation. So this meditation, as I was referring to, if we were trying to find peace outside in the world is changing every minute, every moment, we won't be able to, because if there is change within us or outside, there is no peace. So we want to be peaceful, and we need to stop that oscillation, right? So how do we do that? Look inwards, right? So what do we do? So right now, let's sit in a relaxed posture so that we don't move our body too much, right? So just sit like, and close your eyes, right? So close your eyes and sit in a relaxed posture. So now with my closed eyes, I'm looking, all my body parts are comfortable. And now I have to choose a posture where I would be comfortable for next 20, 25 minutes, where every time the body will move, my mind moves with it. We want to minimize that. So let's just relax posture, eyes lightly closed. And so, because eyes are closed now, look inwards, right? So to do that, what Guru Maharaj said was that, what do we concentrate on? What is our object of concentration? So he said, think of this transcendental energy in form of light in front of us. So right now, right here with us, in front of us, there's this light that's the cosmic energy, and that light is entering our heart. So it's like heartfulness. We're filling our heart with this positive, uplifting, transcendental energy. And it's not far, it's right here with us right now. Let's connect to it. This energy is entering our heart and then distributing throughout our body. And we are becoming one with this energy. So we are becoming the energy. So eyes lightly closed, relaxed posture, and the object of concentration, or what we are trying to manifest, what we are trying to concentrate on, is this transcendental energy, which is in form of light. It's entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and we're becoming one with this light. Now, what will happen is mind will wander away, because we are not, even after long practice, mind naturally wanders away. So every time you realize your mind has gone elsewhere, bring it back. That's also pratyahara. What we are concentrating on is dharana. When we go deep into our meditation, when we forget where we are, who we are, and what we started to concentrate on, that's deep meditation. And resulting higher consciousness is samadhi. This takes us there very, very quickly and efficiently. So right now, again, I'll just repeat one more time. Think of this transcendental energy in form of light in front of us. We are in the presence. This light is entering our heart, enlightening our heart. Then it's going throughout our body. And we are becoming one, completely immersed in this energy. We'll start with music, then music will die down. We'll continue our meditation in silence. Then the music will start again, and then we'll come out of this meditation. Let's start now. I always feel that after the meditation, when I speak, that I'm disturbing peace. So I hope that we all could connect to peace in the real way. But we always find that there is traffic and noise outside, but the inside noise is very hard to quieten. So inner peace, in September, I gave a talk on inner peace in Jaipur. And next Saturday, we'll have a repeat session in Hyderabad on inner peace and worry and anxiety. So every Saturday, 7:30 p.m., we do this online. So you are welcome to connect. So, the core of inner peace is, we all can, should achieve that ocean of peace that Guru Maharaj talks about is the ultimate goal of any human being. Call it enlightenment, because he says, when you are at that level of peace that nothing else can shatter, that is enlightenment. What else? That is free from bondage, free from misery, free from worry and anxiety. And a lot of us are searching for peace outside, but it is right here within us. And, hopefully we were able to, orient ourselves inwards and connect to that peace today. So look inwards, do inner satsang that we just did. And as I was saying, sometimes all it takes is if somebody has achieved that state, they can guide you there. And even, what I have seen in satsang is they don't even have to say or do anything, literally. It's like just being in their presence, you feel that you have connected with peace. So, in that talk, I talked about the pyramid. So that's something that we can talk about in another session. Upanishads talk about 5 steps. If at the top of the pyramid was peace, we have a Panch Kosh, or 5 steps, 5 milestones to get there. And that is why the target state, which we all should achieve or try to achieve, I call love, light, and peace. So in the 4th realm, knowledge or light appears. In the 5th realm, because of that knowledge that we are all connected, the love appears. And then at the top, so light, love, and peace coexist can coexist within all of us. Find someone who lives that way, and you could live the life like that as well. So so let's open up for any, thoughts, questions, sharing any ideas. We can even take questions from online if people are there. And here is Mridamesh. Somebody has to break the ice. Any questions?
Yeah, so we welcome your questions. Just one request. Initially, keep one question per person and keep it brief and to the point, please.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for enlightening introduction. Thank you, Dr. Mohit, for inviting me. My question is about about physical pain. So in case of worries which are from mental world, we can run away easily. But let's say somebody got injury, and in fight and flight, they cannot run away from that injury. So that injury will keep coming. So let's say somebody got hurt on here, and that pain will be there and they cannot run away. Doctors will simply say, oh, you take painkillers. But this person wants to be fine. And they will get panic attacks and anxieties and worries that what will happen to my family and everything. How do you suggest that they come out of this sort of worry where flight is not possible, fight is not possible? How do they come out of it?
Wow. So interestingly, in the West, where a lot of these things are becoming more and more popular every day, they're realizing that holistic lifestyle, meditative lifestyle, and all that has a lot of long-term benefits. So what your question reminded me that there are institutions now which are teaching mindfulness and meditative practices to terminally ill patients. And you would say, like, they are terminally ill. What does that do? And you wouldn't believe. I mean, so I'll give you another example before I complete that thought. So my grandfather, Guru Maharaj, so we're talking about early 1900s, some very crude way of operations and all that. So he got like a big wound. So every, periodically he had to, like, that was to be opened up, it was to be cleaned. So he documents, or somebody else documented, so I've read that. So he was reading the newspaper, right? This person came to clean his wound. He continued to read his newspaper. And then, so his ability to focus, create the alternate pathway, focus elsewhere, was so sharp that the pain, you see what happens. I have a little bit of cough and, cold. And all day when, I was thinking about that, it was affecting me. But now I'm sitting with you, my attention is elsewhere. It subsided. So it hasn't gone away, right? But I can stop thinking about it, right? I can divert my attention with, if I program this. So I have programmed this to be thinking about this again and again and again. And you can ask my wife, it's like every time I get a cold, I'm like all day long, talking about it, right? But for last, hour, I personally haven't even thought about that because my attention is elsewhere. So create your attention elsewhere. That's one of the solutions. The other thing is, coming back to the terminally ill patients, the lot has to do with our perspective in life. Perspective in life can change how you look at your situation. Some people say it's blind faith, but sometimes you believe that what is happening or what has happened to you is because of a reason, like the doctor operates you. It's a massive, triage that happens on your body. It's actually injuring your body in some ways. But you go through that sometimes very positively because you know the outcome will be better. So if you take that perspective in life, that what is I'm going through today is because, it is for a reason, and it is happening because the operation has to happen. After the operation, I'll be better. Right? So a lot to do with perspective, a lot to do with where we are at, what are we attended, where our attention is on. So ability to focus elsewhere can take you, and that's how you avoid worry and anxiety of any kind. Thank you for the question.
More questions? Yeah, here.
Anna, so my question is, the way we were just before this doing the practice and try it at home as well, thoughts are not stopping. It is like a small kid is there, we are come and sit here. We try to keep it remains some time for that, and it again something else comes. It's like keep coming and saying that you could come sit here. After that, it will go and come back. So is this the right way, or how do you suggest to keep working on that to continue the practice?
So, see, once you have achieved a certain level, you can do that too. So in the sense that, some Guru Maharaj and people who achieved a higher state, everything they would do was, to the same end. Like his ability to be connected to this divine energy or transcendental energy was so strong that while doing everything else, that background thread. So like, we have internet, your phone is always connected to the internet, right? It's a background thread. So you can be doing everything on this, on it, but the connection stays on. So same way you could be doing anything else, but you are, connected. So that state comes at a later stage. Early on, what Guru Maharaj used to say is that 23 hours, do all your duties, family duties, work-related stuff, everything else. 1 hour, give it to yourself. At that time, forget about everything else. Do this practice, right? Half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening, or I would say even start with 15 minutes for yourself where you are in deep, silent meditation. But later on, you can achieve that other state. Yeah.
At the end.
There are two, I think.
Yeah, and then the girl. We'll come to you, ma'am.
Namaste, sir. Sir, I have
Namaskar.
one question. So whenever I sit for meditation in the morning, repeated thoughts keep coming, like all the list of works which I have to do in the day, they keep coming, and I keep thinking that should I enjoy the luxury of meditating when I have so much work to do? And even if I am able to sit quietly for half an hour or for 45 minutes, the same, I start having a guilt feeling from within that whether I'm doing the right things, I should be more involved in the karma path, and I should be accomplishing all the works which I need to do throughout the day. And enjoying a peaceful meditation is not something which I should be doing. So I keep confusing myself. So how should I deal with that?
No, it's a very good question. I like it. It's, you see, I'll answer in two parts. First part is, think about sleep, right? 1/3 of the day, right? 24 hours, 1/3, we're sleeping. And a lot of people actually think that that's, how can I cut down my, but think about it. Like if I was not sleeping for, even if I didn't sleep one day, it will affect my next day. If I'm not sleeping regularly, proper hours, it will result in a lot of different things, including disease and everything else, right? So we understand that, like, let's say cleansing of our body is important, and we take care of that, right? That's has to be part of our day. But we don't understand that well, that why our inner body, which is our body of thoughts, our mind, has to be cleansed every day as well. So because we don't value that, that is why, I mean, I met, my heart specialist, and he said, today, stress is becoming an epidemic. Why? Because of that reason, right? Because we don't value that we need to take that time for ourselves. Because eventually what happens is that when, as Mridumesh was kind of relating to, and we all have like ups and downs, how do we deal with the downs in our life? We need inner strength. Where do we get inner strength? Actually, on the way here, I was reading Guru Maharaj's chapter on, this topic. And he said that the inner strength is in your subconscious mind. You have to, work on these meditative practices to be able to do that, the peace, the strength, the ability to tackle ups and downs in life, you will gain by doing this. So once you have to understand the value to be able to, say that, oh, this is not just luxury, this is something that ought to be done. And one of the things that Guru Maharaj did was, you can do it anytime, you can do for shorter periods of time, you can even, like, I would just come to group sessions like early on, and that was my way to just recoup and re-energize and continue the practice. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I should have done it earlier, forgot. Can I know your name, please? Shubham, thank you. Okay, just introduce yourself and ask the question, please. Thank you.
Pranam Bhaiya, my name is Shruti, and my husband has been associated with this group since very long. My question is more like, these days, like, we have our friends and colleagues which are going through stress, right? So a lot of time they open up and discuss a lot of things with you. Even though I want to help them, but at certain instances, I feel that taking all those negative thoughts from them emotionally drains me out. So how can I make sure that even though I'm helping them out, but that's not actually impacting me or my life?
Yeah, very, very important, right? So I think so let me first give the real long-term goal that we all should have, is that we become so strong that people get affected by us and not the other way around, right? So, so what does that mean? So that this diagram, once you reach this top layer, you are so, so the bottom layer is lunar phase and top two layers are solar phase. What's the difference? Moon reflects the light from elsewhere. Solar, sun is having its own light. So you got to have your own light. So that's why, all I'm saying is that once we are so strong that we start affecting this light, love, and peace, everyone who comes to meet us, feels that, right? Gets affected by that. I have some stories, but what I would say is this. So short term, what do we do, right? So, and interestingly, in this book, he has written something like that too. So one of the things he said was that create a barrier of energy. So when you meditate, you are, taking this energy and internalizing it, right? So for that meditation, you are all energy, right? So if I had a barrier of energy, so if I interact with anyone, that person interacts with that energy rather than me. So that, and so if it's almost like I believe in that way of saving myself, right? So it's only a imaginary thing in a way, but it's a very strong approach where you mentally prepare that all the negative things are not coming into me. Once that thought becomes strong, actually it happens that way, right? So I would like to always be having a barrier which stops me from doing that. So he describes it that way.
Thank you.
Sumant, yeah, Madam in red, yeah, please, small introduction.
नमस्कार संजय भैया, नमस्कार जी। मैं रूना श्री हूँ। मैंने आप लोग का ऐड देखा आज न्यूज़पेपर में। What brings me here is मथुरा। मैं मथुरा से हूँ, तो मुझे लगा कुछ अच्छा ही होगा यहाँ आके। मैं मथुरा में ही पली बड़ी हूँ और मंदिरों के आसपास हर जगह कुछ ना कुछ प्रवचन हो रहे हैं, ये हो रहे हैं। But my parents never let me attend it because I have to study. After that, I have to get married. Then after that, I have to kids. So there's always a longing to know more about spirituality, but I never get chance to do that. And this attachment and things is continuing. Yeah? The kids are growing up, but my time is also, evolving more and more. I'm not able to get myself out and devote the time here. And I keep asking my parents. My grandparents were having guru and all, but my parents and next generation never had gurus and all. So whenever I go to a temple or ashram, I said, I want a guru. Okay. And my husband is from Jabalpur. There are also a lot of ashrams. So I keep visiting them and say, I need a guru. So they say, you can't hire a guru, right? It's not like something available. So once Shishya is ready, guru will be, coming in front of you. So as a Shishya, how I can prepare myself to be ready so that guru will appear and I get something which I'm longing for a long time.
Wow. Oh, what a deep question. So, Amit, there is this slide on Vitrag Visham Vachittam. See if you can find it. So, Guru Maharaj actually wrote a book because he must have heard so many questions around that question. So he wrote a book on how to find a guru, right? And I don't know how much time we can put in here, but see, his own story, if I put it in like really brief terms, he was born in a very religious family. He, in northern India by the Ganges. So he used to meet all these sages, and as you're saying, so that continued, right? And then he served for many years on high circles in Arya Samaj. But he said like same thing, that what you're saying is like, I haven't found what I was looking for. And then one day, the plague happened, and so he was treating Dada Guru Maharaj, Lalaji Maharaj. His wife was not well, and he was practicing homeopathic, and so he met, and he was treating his wife, and they met, and then plague happened, and then the families went to the villages, and they both moved to a big palace nearby where everyone was going so that they're safer. And he lived there with him for some time. He didn't utter anything about God, about religion, but he was attracted to him. And slowly, this whole story develops. And so one, it's very hard to figure out when and how you will get there. But he says that if you have genuine interest, the energies of the universe will help you. So you will get there. Later on, I think one day he was, so anyway, it's a long story, but basically, Lalaji Maharaj enlightened him and then asked him to promote this throughout and freely. So in the book, I think if I was to, two things. One, if you keep your interest and you will get there because the energies of the universe will help you. And the second thing is that what he said, that in the presence of the person, if you forget about everything, what's going on and what's happening. So Vitrag Vishyam Vachitam that Maharishi Patanjali talks about is like somebody who is way beyond the world, right? And transcendented from all this. And you will feel it immediately that, you are at like such a level of peace. No good, bad thoughts are any longer with you just by being in the presence of that person. Then you have got it. So, good question, and I'm glad that you're here, and hopefully, this practice will definitely help you, get to a higher place and finally achieve your goals.
Good evening, sir. It's a delight to be in your presence. So I just wanted to ask you, is the reason that people are looking for inner peace so much, is it because there's so much sadness out there in the world? You think a more temporary solution would be, fix the problems outside, the sadness outside? Maybe do you think then there would be, a lesser need to look for inner peace because everything outside would be a little more peaceful?
So have you read history?
The one they teach in the...
No, I'm just kidding. See, the thing is that sometimes I myself think about like, if we could look back and why human race has always been in conflict. Today, yesterday, last century, 10 centuries back, ancient times, look at Ramayana, Mahabharata, the problem I think is that our mind plays such games that somehow we think that, our ego makes us do things that we shouldn't be doing to others. And that just causes all kinds of things that are happening. And so all I would say is that would be the ideal goal. And I think all these practices, like today, what we practice, wants to achieve that goal through, once you control your mind, and once you achieve higher consciousness, and once you connect with the nature. See, in one of the things in that higher state of consciousness, what you realize is that you are so well connected with everyone else. So Guru Maharaj was able to connect with thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people and affect their lives positively because he felt that connection. Once all of us would feel that connection, we'll take care of each other. So for you to be able to do better for others, you need to be at the higher state. So that's, I think, the essence here. Shall we? Okay. What's the time?
7.
Okay, hi, my name is Simran, and my question today is that meditation is in a sense a practice of the mind. Another popular practice of the mind is manifestation. Do you think it's effective? Like, what are your views on it?
Yeah, I actually, I did a question and answer with my daughter. It's on the YouTube channel, I think. So the thing is, have you read about Kamdhenu and Kalpvraksh? So long time back in India, people actually wrote about Kamdhenu and Kalpvraksh, which basically is a form of manifestation. So even through these meditative practices, you can achieve a state where you can literally think of anything and that will appear. However, Guru Maharaj said that those are again the, so let's say instead of manifesting, so here we were manifesting transcendental light and energy. Instead, we could manifest something very material, right? And I'm telling you, you believe it or not, you can manifest those things and that works, okay? But you have to control your mind for that too, right? So the thing is that if you manifest material things, you're still in the outer world and away from inner peace. What will happen is that that manifestation about material things could lead you farther away from peace. So you are manifesting that because love, money, or anything else you manifest, I will be better with that, right? But the resultant effect that what people who have practiced that have found is that we actually move away from peace. So if your goal is just some materialistic aspects, yes, you can manifest those, and that works. And actually, a little bit, Guru Maharaj has written about it. It's, people have practiced it, but he very, very, very strongly says, please do not utilize this approach for material manifestation because you will go in a direction that is not, taking you to the actual goal of the ocean of peace. So I mean, yeah, it's his guru actually gave him multiple things, like methods through which he could manifest a lot of things. But he also told him, don't use them until and unless you have to use it for somebody else's help. And that too only with serious caution. So he always followed that advice. So. Good question there.
Good evening, sir. This is
Yeah.
Shavali Jain. I want to ask how to handle a one-sided relationship, which makes you emotionally, mentally drained, and you can't cut them, you can't run away from them. So how can we maintain peace in that situation?
Wow. So there are two aspects to this. One is that there is a one-sided situation, right? So there is the other and me. So first I have to make myself strong, right? Always, I think the all meditative practices create a very strong inner strength. So inward orientation also makes, so what is very interesting is this, that we're talking about detachment, we're talking about inner peace, we're talking about inward orientation, we're talking about, you know, all these things. And Guru Maharaj practiced all that. And then what he did? He connected with everyone, right? It's like, I mean, very, very soon in 1930s, he had hundreds of people, then followed by thousands of people who used to call him Father, Chachaji. You know, they used to, every day people were visiting him. And everyone, as Mridvesh was saying, everyone used to say that the love I have found with him, I never imagined before, right? Every person. So first, we have to ground ourselves, make ourselves strong. Then we can have far better understanding of our own relationships, right? Because, see, in a way, and I don't want to, I'm saying it with all due respect, is that the expectations and desires are where our, see, if I didn't have expectation and if I didn't have any of the desires, then I wouldn't call it a one-sided relationship, right? So what is expectation and desires come from these attachments. And these attachments then lead to misery, as Buddha, you know, famously said. So what do we do? You know, the answer is we have to go to a detached state. And we think that detached state is where you will leave everything and go to the Himalayas. No. I feel when you interact with a detached state of mind, you are more connected than ever. At a higher state of consciousness, you connect with people in a way that you wouldn't be able to connect otherwise. See, because at lower states, it's me, my desires, my expectations. At higher states, I'm ready to give everything. And then there is no one way, because everybody understand everybody is like me. If you provide them what they need, they're good. Right? So I think first you have to fix your own inner state. And then there are some manifestations that can happen where I'll just give you a very simple, there are many techniques, but one simple technique is that when you meditate, put the other person with you and see that the energy that I am getting, the other person is getting too. And what my grandfather writes is that that affects that person positively and your relationship positively. So I'm just saying, for example. Does that make sense? Yeah, because see, the thing is, until unless we, so at some point we have to get to a higher state which provides us inner strength, and that inner strength will help us cope with these situations and problems in a very different way. So it's all about perspective, right? So once our perspective changes, once our desires and stuff changes, that will change too. So yeah, go ahead.
Namaste. My name is Ankit. We've been associated with this Ramashram Satsang for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
My sister Shivangi, she attends your...
Oh, yeah.
So I have a question revolving around the practice. So my fight is not with controlling my thoughts. My fight is how to control my sleep. For the last 25 years, as soon as the dhyan or the meditation starts, I sleep. You can call it thoughtlessness. I will definitely call it. Then as soon as the dhyan ends, I get up. So is it good? Is it bad? How to control my sleep? I don't have a problem controlling my thoughts. I can be in a... So sleep, I understand it's a thoughtlessness state itself. So how can I control my sleep while the meditation, or how does it work?
No. So first, let me tell you, sleep is full of dreams. And interestingly, what Yogasthit Vritti Nirodh, what Maharshi Patanjali is talking about, is not a state of sleep. It's a state of being awake, right? So, so there is a difference between a state of being awake from inside and sleep where the dreams, and so the mind is working in a different mode, but it's still working, right? So when first time, this question has come up umpteen number of times over the years. And the first time when the person asked, I said, you know what? Today, in this current culture, I meet so many people who can't sleep well. So if I am, through this practice, somebody is able to sleep well, hey, what's wrong with that, right? But then I watched a YouTube video that said, being awake and being asleep is who has achieved enlightenment through sleep, good, right? Who has achieved that? So, yeah, so there are some techniques where you have to kind of remind yourself initially to not to fall asleep. But yes, this is it's not like very, very common, but it is something that I have seen over and over and over. And I think we need to kind of tune ourselves to, get in an awake state of meditation. Yeah.
So Bhaiya, there is a reminder that you have another session, online Zoom session in 3 minutes from UK. This is a reminder. But I guess we can take some questions more.
No, it's so yeah, it's I'm here. Yeah, so same time as today, there is a session next weekend in Hyderabad. So you can join online if you have time. And otherwise, all Saturdays, there is an online session at 7:30 p.m. India time, right? And the link remains the same. So you just find the link and you can join these sessions every Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Yeah, we can take one or two more questions if there are any. Otherwise, we can wrap up too. So, shall we?
Okay, I think I was the party pooper. So sorry, sorry about that. First of all, thank you everyone. It was real joy being part of this. While this was an orientation session for the new joiners, is also, I found it a very, very good refresher session for us. And in your questions, even some of our doubts, old timers' doubts have been cleared. So thanks a lot for that. Thanks a lot also for your patience as we have overshot the time. That always happens when Bhaiya is around. Though he had warned me, don't
actually. I remember last time I came to Bangalore, we had a regular session, and the question and answers went up all the way when the community hall people came and said that, yeah, get out of here. So
thank you again. We hope you found the session meaningful, and we'll have follow-up engagement and communication. In case you have not done so already, please ensure your phone number and email are registered. As Diyaji mentioned, just repeating it, next Saturday, that is 1st of April, we have a similar session by Diyaji in Hyderabad. It will be available live, live on web. So you can catch the link. You can find the details on ramashram.org, our page, ramashram.org event section. Now we request all of you to join us for a small and simple dinner. It's arranged at the cafeteria. Our volunteers will guide you. I'm hoping that Sanjeev Bhaiya is still available around for any interaction that you want. And all of us remaining members of Ramashram Bangalore family are also available in case you want to interact. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your blessings. Thank you. Okay.